Have you ever pondered the dichotomy between Greeks and barbarians in ancient Greece? This thought-provoking question leads us into the heart of a civilization that was a beacon of culture, intellect, and innovation. But like any society, ancient Greece was not without its complexities and contradictions. At the core of Greek society was a dichotomy, a division between us and others. In the Greek mindset, us referred to the Greeks themselves, the people who shared a common culture, language, and way of life. Others, on the other hand, were those who were different or alien to Greek culture. They were often referred to as barbarians, a term which denoted not only a different culture but also a level of development that the Greeks perceived as inferior to their own. This perception of us versus others was deeply ingrained in Greek society. The Greeks had a rich and diverse cultural heritage, characterized by a plethora of rites, myths, customs, and cultural tokens. These elements were not only different from those of other cultures, but they were also often incomprehensible to those outside the Greek world. However, while the Greeks were united by a shared culture, their sense of a unified nationality was rather weak and inactive. This is evidenced by the diversity of the polis states and commercial citadels under their command. Each of these entities had its own distinct identity and way of life, testifying to a lack of national cohesion among the Greeks. The term Hellas, which referred to all the Greek polis, implied a community bowing to one identity, but this sense of community was not strong enough to forge a unified national identity. So, while the Greeks were united by a shared culture, their sense of a unified nationality was rather weak and inactive. This dichotomy between us and others, between Greeks and barbarians, is a fascinating aspect of ancient Greek society that continues to intrigue historians and scholars today. It provides a unique window into the mindset and worldview of a civilization that has left an indelible mark on world history. As we delve deeper into the history of ancient Greece, we find an evolving sense of nationality. This evolution was not straightforward, but rather a complex process shaped by the diverse city-states and commercial centers under Greek control. Noted historian Helmut Berve, in his work Das Alexanderreich, concluded that the Greeks had a weak and inactive sense of nationhood. Despite numerous attempts to unify them, the Greeks remained a collection of distinct polis states, each with its own unique identity. Yet, amidst this diversity, there was a common thread that bound the Greeks together: culture. The term Hellas, which referred to all Greek polis, emerged as an embodiment of this shared cultural identity. It implied a community united not by political boundaries or geographical proximity, but by a shared cultural heritage. This cultural commonality was expressed through language, traditions, religion, and education, among other things. As time went by, this sense of cultural community began to intensify, gradually evolving into a more concrete sense of national identity. The Greeks began to view themselves as a distinct group, separate from the barbarians and others who did not share their culture. This differentiation was not merely a matter of cultural pride, but a way of asserting their identity in a world filled with diverse peoples and cultures. What fueled this intensification of Greek national identity? One key factor was comparison. The Greeks, in their interactions with other cultures, came to realize the uniqueness and superiority of their own. They saw their culture, with its rich traditions, advanced language, and sophisticated societal structure, as something to be cherished and protected. This realization, in turn, made them more conscious of their identity as Greeks.
Dive into a world where curiosity thrives and knowledge is at your fingertips. Pause here. Appreciate the effort that goes into crafting these informative capsules. A mere $2 can fuel more such journeys of discovery. As a Patreon member, you unlock doors to exclusive content and perks. Support the quest for knowledge by clicking the link below. Gratitude for your patronage. Your contribution keeps the wheels of creativity turning. Embark on this adventure with us, and together we'll explore the even more educational video subjects.
Yet, it is important to note that this emerging sense of national identity was not based on political unity or geographical boundaries. Instead, it was rooted in a shared cultural heritage. The Greeks, uncertain of their national identity, began to define themselves more by their cultural superiority than by any shared political or geographic identity. Despite their uncertainty about nationality, the Greeks harbored a profound pride in their culture. It was a rich tapestry woven from threads of accomplishment in administration, politics, military strategy, ethics, arts, and societal development. The Greeks were artisans of governance. Their political acumen was honed through the formation of polis states and commercial citadels. These were not mere city-states, but testaments to their administrative prowess, each a jewel reflecting the brilliance of Greek political thought. Their military might was legendary, an extension of their strategic intellect. The Greek phalanx, a formation of heavy infantry, was a force to be reckoned with, a testament to their mastery of the art of war. In the realm of ethics, the Greeks were pioneers. The philosophical musings of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle still echo in contemporary ethical debates, their wisdom transcending the passage of time. These philosophers laid the foundation for our understanding of morality and the good life, their thoughts as relevant today as they were over 2,000 years ago. Their contributions to the arts were no less significant. The Greeks gifted the world with works of unparalleled beauty and profound meaning. From the grandeur of the Parthenon to the timeless tragedies of Sophocles, Greek art continues to captivate and inspire. Society in general was another canvas upon which the Greeks left their indelible mark. They pioneered the concept of democracy, a system of governance that values the voice of each citizen, influencing societies across the globe. The Greeks saw themselves as dominators within the Mediterranean space, attributing to themselves the hallmarks of a civilized society: a developed language, millennial traditions, and a solid education system. They were the bearers of a complex alphabet, the custodians of time-honored traditions, and the architects of a comprehensive education system, the famed paideia, which championed the master-disciple relationship. The Greeks' pride in their culture and civilization formed a significant part of their identity, placing them in a position of dominance within the Mediterranean world. Their cultural pride was a beacon, a shining testament to their achievements, casting long shadows on those who dared to challenge their supremacy. The dichotomy between us and others wasn't just a cultural distinction, it was a breeding ground for conflict. This stark demarcation wasn't solely about those who acknowledged their cultural inferiority to the Greeks, but also encompassed those who dared to challenge the supremacy of Greek culture. This cultural tug-of-war was not merely an academic exercise. It was a battleground where cultural identities were forged, shaped, and reshaped. It was a fight for dominance, for the right to shape the narratives of civilization, a struggle that would echo down the corridors of time. In this arena, the Greeks stood as a formidable force, a cultural titan defending its legacy. Against them, the others, or barbarians as they were called, sought to assert their own cultural identities, to challenge the Greek dominance and carve out their own place in the annals of history. In the end, the dichotomy between Greeks and barbarians was more than just a cultural divide. It was a power struggle, a clash of cultures, and a defining feature of the ancient Greek world. Said Dr. Radu Cialda in his book, Weak Barbarism, "Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe."